Welcome back everyone for more Retro Restore. This time we're going to be looking at the Game Boy Advance. This is one we've had for a little bit. We actually got it from one of my friends. He was nice enough to 3D print a new battery backing on there. But recently at Handheld Legends, they had some shells on clearance. So we are going to re-shell this one with, like I said in the one of the previous ones, I kind of have a problem. So I think we're going to go with this one. This will go the best with it. It's the black with the holograph logo on it. And then to make things even more exciting, we will be soldering on this guy to add some LEDs to these clear buttons. So we have, oh actually, wait, there's more. I almost forgot the most important part of this one. No, we are keeping the original screen on this one, but we are going with USB-C rechargeable battery. And it has a nice little cover to it. Now all this stuff was purchased on Handheld Legends. I will leave a link in the description from there. And I believe everything here is from Retro 6. They do a whole bunch of customization stuff for a bunch of different consoles. Before we start this, we will just verify that it works. So this does work, so there won't need to be anything special that we do to it other than just take it apart and do the mods that we want. So I guess this is less of a restoration, more of a customization, but we'll still call it a retro restore. So we will start by using our annoying tri-wing screwdriver to remove these annoying tri-wing screws. Now we took out all 6 of the screws from the back, and just because the new shell has new screws, these ones are actually in decent shape, so we're going to hold on to these ones and save them for later. Then since those 6 are removed, there is a Phillips screw right here in the battery area, so we will remove that one too. Then with all those screws removed, you just kind of pull the case apart like that. There you go, that's what the inside of a Game Boy Advance looks like. If you look closely, there is some gunk that's on there, so I think we are going to have to do a little bit of restoration on some of these spots on here. But to make that a little easier, let's go ahead and remove the shoulder buttons. We have that side panel that didn't come off the top part of the case, so we will just set that over there. Then there are 2 Phillips screws on the board, and we'll have to remove both of those. So then if you grab something that's kind of precision-like, you can move these little brown spots back. And then we will gently slide this ribbon out of here. And then with those 2 screws out and that ribbon removed, we can grab by this area and lift this up. We have our nice little board right here. Let's just take these since we have replacements and just put them to the side. You can also remove all the other rubber areas and the buttons from these and put all those to the side too. And our little power toggle. We also have our little power LED on there. Well, the disperser for the LED. We will want to remove that and just put that to the side. So then the final part for this part of the case is to get the screen removed. So if you have something that can kind of get under there to pop the screen up gently, you can stick that down in there and just kind of pry that up. There we go. We broke the seal on that. It is being stubborn on the bottom right now. There we go. It's that black tape that's around there. Sometimes when you pull the screen up, that tape comes with it. Sometimes it doesn't. So we'll just set our screen to the side. And then look back at our board. We are going to have to clean some stuff. For cleaning, we use Q-tips and 91% isopropyl alcohol. Make sure you do a pretty nice job cleaning the pins and the little connector on the system. Both of those get very dusty, and I'm doing voiceover right now because I was a dum-dum and knocked the mic cable loose. So bear with me here, hopefully I get everything right. So use a can of air to get the pins cleaned up. If you are using one of the cans of air, make sure you're in a well-ventilated area. And then make sure all the little spots where the controller buttons hit down get cleaned pretty well with the isopropyl alcohol and the Q-tip, including the start button. And then the Retro 6 Clean Light assembly. It actually fits pretty nicely in place, and there are a few solder points. There's one solder point there close to the start buttons, there's one that's up by those, there's one up by the first shoulder button. The most complicated one is right there around all those little lumps, and then there's one way up there. So make sure it's all aligned and then start the soldering job. And make sure throughout the process it does stay aligned, because you don't want to accidentally bump it loose and have the soldering not work correctly. And then afterwards, just kind of move it around and make sure that it didn't come loose. It looks like all the solder points are holding in place right here. Because at least at this point, if they did come loose, you could easily fix it. And then get the case taken apart. They had tape on there because they painted it, so remove the tape. Then you want to get a nice tool that can easily grab the glue from the previous screen. And then just lift it off gently so you don't rip it. Then the easiest thing is apply it directly to the display. And I have no clue how long my mic may have been off. That's not good. Just realized I accidentally pulled the USB cable out from it. So you had the glue on there from the old screen or whatever that little weird cover thing is. Make sure the ribbon's at the top of the case, and it'll be easiest to align it if you're using the original screen by loading it in like this. Because you need to try to make sure it's all centered just so it looks right. There we go, that's looking pretty centered in there. Then we'll grab our Retro 6 buttons and start getting those installed. Put our B button in there. Our A button. So after getting the buttons over, I'm just going to turn this over just so the buttons won't be poked back up through there. Then we'll grab our little rubber thingies and get these in place. So we have those ones in there, and then this one goes in just like this. Then after those are on, we want to get our little diffuser installed for the LED. So over here on this side of the board, we'll just take that and slide that on in there. We have everything from this part done. Now the speaker does actually have a little tab that sticks out, so you want to make sure that's aligned correctly in there. Yeah, the easiest way to do this is when you're moving this down, is to get the speaker aligned and then align everything on the bottom, and then the top will just plop right into place. Then make sure your ribbon cable is out. And luckily new cases usually come with screws, so we don't have to worry about using the old garbage screws. We can just use our nice new Phillips screws on here. And we will put these 3 screws in place instead of 2 that we started with. There we go, we have all 3 of those screws in place now. So our next thing is we'll get the ribbon cable back in place. You just want to gently move it back and then slide it on into there. And then close these little connectors. So now we'll get our shoulder buttons installed. So we take the L button, it has this metal that sticks down, also has a little like little tabs that stick out on each side. So you take the metal part, you kind of push it. There's a spot that kind of like a wall right there next to that opening. You want to take the metal part, push it into that wall, and then get the plastic tab into the opening there. Then once that button's in there, it'll work correctly and reset and everything. So it can be a little tricky getting it aligned just right. Then we want to do the same to the other side. So we take that metal part, kind of push it back a bit, Get the plastic in place. And then move that down. Make sure your power switch is in the off position on there, and then we will drop the power switch into place. And there we go. Then we'll put our little spacers on here. One thing to note is where the back is, that is where this little tab that sticks out will align. So we want to put that spacer on this side. Then with everything set up, now it's time to put the back on here. Just kind of take it and just slide it on over everything. May have to jiggle the buttons a little bit, the shoulder buttons a little bit to get that in place, but there we go. Then we'll take our screws and put them in place. We got all 6 of these screws in. Pop the battery terminal off, and then get that 7th screw in place. Then to install the Clean Juice for Game Boy Advance from Retro 6, you take the battery, remove the little 3M thingy from it, well, from the bottom of it. You'll want this part in this corner up here. So you remove that. Then you stick that battery in place. Then remove the top 3M sticker part. Take the chipset, get it over on this side, and then it slides on down over there. Make sure that is in place pretty well there. Then we'll take this part here and just slide that on into the power opening. So it's a little tricky to get it positioned correctly, but the red will be facing up on the system. Then that just clicks right into place. Then we have the final part is getting this on here, final part for the battery. And then that pops in, and there we go. We have a C charging battery for the system. Then the final part in general is just getting the screen cover on. Screen's still pretty clean. We'll just blast it a little bit. Then we'll remove the back covering from this. There we go, that looks really nice. And then we place this on in here. And there we go. I guess our final thing is just to make sure everything works. Just put a game in there. See if it turns on. So when I turned it on previously, the screen did not show anything. Popped it back open, checked all the solder points, everything, made sure nothing was crossed on there. Ended up having to clean the ribbon cable for the screen, and then put it back in there, and then that made it work. So here we go. We now have a working screen on this. One of those heart-stopping moments. You just get all that stuff done, and then it's just not working. Let me turn this down a bit. So yeah, the system has these nice LEDs on it. The way these are set up, if you hold down start and select for a few seconds. So yeah, if you hold start and select down for a few seconds, then it turns LEDs off. Hold them down a few seconds again, turns them back on. So that's kind of a cool effect to add onto one of these, and I think it was about $12 or $13. I'll put a link in the description for that, but lights up all of these. See on the sides and even down on the bottom, you can see that lit up. So I hope you enjoyed this. If it's something that you enjoy watching, let me know in the comments. Make sure to subscribe, leave a thumbs up. I know I have fun doing this kind of stuff, so hopefully I'm able to help someone else with it. I'll leave everything in the description for all the different parts that were used, and if If you have any questions about any of it, let me know. This one, I think it's pretty straightforward. There aren't any other weird things that I do differently than other people that I know of, other than some of the soldering stuff. I'm still new at that, but everything worked out pretty well. So, and thank you for watching. Have a nice day.